Let's spend a little bit of time talking about Robusto or Robusto. Pronunciation either way is just fine. You're going to hear it both ways. So it's a light purple chemical that's highly fragranced. They call it a lavender fragrance. The nice thing about this chemical is that it leaves that nice, clean, fresh scent even the day after. So when our customers come in the next day, if it's a nice, clean location like a bank or something, they might not always be able to see what you cleaned, but they're going to be able to smell that you were there for sure. And that's what we really like about Robusto. And that's what the customers really like about it, is it leaves that nice, clean, fresh smell. So dilution rates for this chemical are 1 to 3 ounces per gallon of water, and it's recommended that you use this with cold tap water. So do not turn on the hot faucet when you're filling your bucket with this one. Remember, certain chemicals and chemistries work better with certain temperatures of water, and this one is recommended to use with cold water. Dilution rate 1 to 3 ounces, so we are not probably almost always err on the side of caution and go with that 1 ounce per gallon of water. Unless the surface you're cleaning is extremely dirty, then you can bump it up a little bit. But typically that 1 ounce per gallon of water is going to be perfectly acceptable. Remember, if you use your chemical in anything, no matter what chemical it is, if you overuse it, you're going to have a sticky residue left behind, or you're going to actually dull the surface because there's going to be a little bit of chemical left on the surface, and they're going to really notice. So try to err on the side of caution with this one for sure, because it's just a cleaner, it's not a disinfectant. And so we want to stick with that 1 ounce per gallon. Plus the fragrance can get extremely strong if you overuse it. Okay, so with Robusto, you're going to want to use the bucket method for cleaning because you can get all of your rags wet and in the chemical at the beginning of your shift. You're using cold water, so your water can't get any colder as it sits there throughout your shift. So use that bucket method, fill it with your gallon of water and your chemical, and then add as many rags as you're going to need to get through your shift. Please notice that when using the bucket method, I keep my bucket on a surface that's away from papers or anything that potentially could get wet. If there isn't that option at your location and you have a cart, you want to make sure to carry that bucket on the cart. We don't want to splatter the water using the bucket method like this. Whether it's spray bottle or bucket, doesn't matter. We don't want to spray water or splatter water or spill water potentially on anything on the desk. So using this bucket method away from any papers or surfaces that we could damage. Okay. Now remember, Robusto is simply a cleaner. It is not a disinfector. It can be used on every surface. That's the cool thing about Robusto, is it's neutral pH, and so it's good for any surface at all. We can use it on floors, on counters, on mirrors, on toilets. You can use it absolutely anywhere. It's safe for every surface, but it is simply just a cleaner. There is no disinfectant in this, and it's not a heavy-duty degreaser, so we're just using this for basic cleaning. So this homes, top to bottoms, these are really good examples of locations and places to use Robusto. It's a really versatile chemical, but remembering that it's just a cleaner, it's not a disinfectant, helps us kind of think of places and locations to use that. Also keep in mind that most of the time when we're using Rejuvenol, we're not actually adhering to the wet dwell time, which is 10 full minutes of wet. And that is what is required to fully disinfect an area. And so the vast majority of the time we're not disinfecting anyway because we're wiping that surface. And remember, we wipe wet and then we wipe dry. So we're definitely drying every surface, and therefore we're not using that disinfectant if we use Rejuvenol every single time. So Robusto is the great alternative. It's also probably 50% of the cost. So it's half the cost of Rejuvenol. And so if we want to talk about bottom line a little bit, Robusto is definitely the better choice when it comes to cost-effective use of our chemicals. Okay, being thoughtful about that. Remember, everything affects our bottom line, which affects everything else. So I would welcome the use of Robusto. It's very versatile. The chemical makeup is simply a surfactant, which removes the dirt from the surface, a coupling agent, and then just a bunch of fragrances, which is why it lasts really long. It lasts overnight. So if you clean one day and come back the next day, it's still going to smell in the morning, and that's what they're going to like. So I would highly recommend it in place of Rejuvenol in most locations, unless we really want to try to disinfect that area. Hopefully you understand a little more about Robusto and have a little more confidence when taking this chemical to your location.